everybody, welcome back to Real Good Pilates. I'm Michelle, and today I have for you a mat Pilates workout that is geared towards runners. So we're going to focus a lot on strengthening and mobilizing the hip joints, the ankles, really giving some good support to our lower body, as well as getting in some good core work. So whether you are a serious running enthusiast or a casual jogger, this workout is going to give you everything you need to feel your best for your next run. So you don't need any props, just you and your mat, and let's get started. So we're going to come down to all fours, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and we're going to tuck the toes under so the balls of the feet are trying to touch the mat. Okay, now as you take a breath in, we're going to go into some cat and cow stretches. Exhaling as we round, inhaling to look up and out. Good, so really just allowing some nice movement through the spine, getting our bodies moving. Good, really putting lots of force and energy into the floor as we flex the spine. Good, pushing into the fingertips. Okay, let's do this one more time. Now end up in a nice long neutral. We're going to get a nice stretch for the ankles and the feet. So as we exhale, we're going to tip our hips back towards our heels and then come back over the hands. Yeah, so exhale, we rock over the heels. Inhale, return. Very nice. Good, so this really helps to open up the soles of the feet, stretch out those metatarsal muscles, yes, that we are on a lot when we're walking day to day, but especially if we are running. So, good place to start here. Very good, you guys. And if this is tight and feels uncomfortable, this is probably a sign that this is something you need to work on. Yeah, so if you're having trouble getting the toes tucked under, or this is tender, kind of take a note and moving forward, try to fit this into your routine a little bit more, paying attention to our feet and ankles because they're super important. They support us all day long. All right, so now sit your hips back there and stay. Hold the pelvis where it is and do some of your cat and cow stretches through the spine, keeping your body back over your heels. Now you might have a more limited range of motion. That's okay. Really pushing your mat away from you, driving the heels back into the feet. And this should increase that feeling of stretch underneath the arches of your feet. Very good. Do that 2 more times. Really actively use those abdominals as we curl and then stretch them out as we look up. Good. Now get back to your neutral spine and just shift your pelvis over one foot and then the other. Yes, kind of start small and just test it out. But again, just changing the weight kind of changes up where we feel that stretch in the foot. Whew, very good. Okay, bring your hips back to the center and then rock back up to your hands. Good. Okay, shake your feet out a little bit. Now we're going to leave the knees where they are, but bring the heels together in kind of like a frog foot position. So my feet are in a V, and we're going to repeat those same stretches here. So we lean back and then return. So now my hips are externally rotated. Yeah, and you might feel a little bit more stretch on kind of the inner arch of the foot, the part that's more lined up with your big toe. Very good. Okay, and then just like before, shift back there and stay and go into our cat and cow stretches here. So we flex and then we lengthen. Round and push away and then release. And if it ever gets to be too much stretch for the feet, you can untuck the toes, place the tops of the feet down. Yeah, take a break and then rejoin. All right, one more time. Now get back to your long spine and then just do those little shifts over one foot and then the other. And it's not huge. I'm not even really picking my hips up. I'm just kind of rolling from side to side. Whew. Good. Now come on up. Shake your feet out for a second. Now that we've kind of warmed up and opened up the arches of the feet. They're going to be ready to kind of support more of our weight now. So tuck the toes back under, find your neutral spine. Inhale to get ready. Now as we exhale, we're going to get a little bit of pelvic rotation going. So one knee is going to hover off the floor. I allow my hips to rotate and then replace it down. And then other side, twist and then replace. Really feel the obliques, those abdominal corset muscles, to kind of be the initiator as we pick up and put down. Good, and I'm keeping that strength through my arms so that my shoulders aren't twisting, just the low body. Now, running is so much of moving in the forward direction into our sagittal plane that it's really important to counteract that with work more side to side, rotation, kind of getting the body moving in different directions. Okay, so that's what we're doing here for the lower body. Now lift one knee up and hold. Bring the opposite knee off the floor to meet it. So I'm at a double knee hover. Replace the first knee down and then set the second knee down. Now let's bring the opposite knee up first. So I lift one, I lift the other, and then I replace down and down. Yeah, so try to alternate which knee is going first. Good, that's not easy. So we're rotating the pelvis and then we bring the pelvis back to level and then we rotate and come back to level. Good, do that a couple more times. If your wrists ever get tired, you can come down to your elbows. Very good, let's do that one more time. Now we're gonna lift both knees together, keeping the hips level. So all at the same time. I lift and lower. Exhale and lower. Try to keep your long neutral spine so we're not tucking and rounding. And down. So good, you guys. 3 more. Last 2. Now pause up in your hover and stay, and we're gonna rock back and forth on the ankles. So this is gonna be even more stretch for the toes, for the arches of the feet, and then lots of good strength through the quads for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then replace the knees down, tuck your toes under, finally take a break for the feet, and then just gently set the head down on the floor. Oh, very, very nice. Okay, let's come on down onto our backs. We're gonna get in some good work for our glutes and our hamstrings, super important muscles. So have the hands next to you on the mat, spine is neutral. Feet are flat. Take a breath in. As you exhale, you're going to scoop your tail under and roll your spine off of the mat. 1 vertebrae at a time. Get up to your bridge and hold it for a breath. And then as you exhale, soften your chest and melt the spine back till you find neutral. Good. And then again, scoop under. Use the arms to press the mat away from you. As you hold here, try to send your breath into the backs of your ribs, really expanding, and then roll back through. Good. As we're rolling through here, make sure your knees aren't splaying out to the sides. You want to keep a good connection from your inner thighs to keep the femurs tracking straight forward. Very good. All right, let's do that 2 more times. Hopefully your spine is feeling a little bit looser than when we started. Okay, let's do 1 more here. Very good. Now come down to neutral. Bend your elbows, almost like kind of robot arms. You're going to dig your elbows into the floor. Now we're going to keep our back neutral instead of rolling through the spine. So as you exhale, you're just going to lift the spine up in one piece and then lower back down. Yes, so we're hinging at the hips rather than articulating through the spine. Good. So now we can really feel a little bit stronger how active the arms can be here, digging against the floor. So good. Good. Imagining like you're squeezing a ball between your knees to find that inner thigh connection we found before. So good. Let's do 2 more here. Last one. Okay, now pause at the bottom. This time we're going to add on a single leg lift. So all at the same time as my hips are lifting, I'm also going to float 1 foot up to tabletop and then replace it on the lower. Other side, lift, and then replace. So it's a total game changer having 3 points down instead of 4. That's it. So try to keep the pelvis level. Don't let one hip lag behind. Good. And that tabletop leg arrives at the same time. Last 2. Good. Tons of work for that single glute. Now, pause at the bottom. We're also going to add a reach of our opposite arm. So, if my right leg is lifting to tabletop, at the same time, I'm trying to touch the ceiling with the left arm and then replace. Other side, reach and lower. Press and lower. And it's almost more about what the elbow and foot are doing that get left behind than it is about the lifting side. So those 2 points digging into your mat, those are really our focus. Lift and lower. Let's do 3 more. Last 2. And now last one, hold up at the top, and we're going to take little tiny pulses of our hips, lifting, lifting, keep the elbow dug into the floor. 3, 2, 1, and then return other side. We lift the opposite arm as leg and pulse, pulse, pulse. Good, keeping that femur driving forward. 3, 2, 1, and then lower down. Now reach one leg up towards the ceiling. Get it as straight as possible and keep your low back as neutral as possible. So try to have a slight gap under your lumbar and the floor. Okay, now just flex and point this top ankle a couple times. Very good. You might feel this stretch already through the calf or the hamstring. All right, now when the ankle is flexed, we're going to lower the leg forward. When it's pointed, we'll lift back up. Lower and then lift. And you can bring that leg as close to your body as you're able to without moving your low back. So that's going to depend on your individual hamstring length today. All right, last one. Bend the knee, replace the foot, and we'll do the other side. So pause with the leg vertical. Take that ankle into that flexion, back and forth. Okay, now adding on the lower and lift. When the ankle is flexed, we lower down, point, we lift up. Yes, and even though this isn't a super challenging position for the rest of our body, you want to think of your foot driving down, your ribs heavy. Yes, so we don't feel our torso bobbling around here. Very good. All right, pause at the top, bend your knee to tabletop to replace it down. All right, now we're going to take that leg action and put it together with our bridge shape that we found earlier. So going into a full shoulder bridge exercise, replace the hands back on the mat. Take a breath in. Exhale, hinge the hips up, no articulating. Now reach a leg through tabletop to stretch. Lower and lift 3 times, moving the ankle just like before. After the last one, pause at the top, bend to replace the foot, keep the hips up, and go right away to the other side. So we stretch, flex and point the ankle. Good, 3 times through. Pause at the top, foot to the mat, lift even higher, and then set the hips down. Whew. Good. Let's repeat that whole series again. So we pop up and stay, stabilize that supporting side as we reach, and then lower and lift for 3, 2, 1. Place the foot down, and then right away, other side. Reach, flex, and point. Good. 2, 1. Feel that hammy stretch at the top. Now find your bridge and lift and lower down. Whew. Okay, let's do one more time. Pop up, extend the leg. Now you take that leg in those 2 directions as far as you can without losing your strength. Whew. Other side. Reach, lower, lift, 2, 1. Whew. Set the foot down, lift the hips high, and then come down to the mat. Good. So next, we're going to go into some leg circles. So I want you to take one foot and slide it a little further away from you on the mat, so our hip is a little more open. Take the other leg and lift it up to tabletop. Reach the arms to the sky. Now, super challenging to not move our torso here. So if you're struggling, put either the elbow or the hands back down. So we're going to go into a stirring motion of this tabletop leg. So think about your femur in the hip. That's what's drawing the circle. And the rest of the leg is just kind of going along for the ride. Okay, now hopefully this bottom foot scooted forward enough so that you're not bumping into your knee. Good. Now reverse and go the other direction. So we're just allowing this nice circumduction through the hip, trying not to grip, but just kind of allow that head of the femur to find that nice movement in the hip joint. Good. Now let's set that foot down far away from your sitting bone. New leg is up, and then we start stirring around. Yeah, so it's almost like our pelvis is like a pot on the stove. The femur is the spoon, and it's trying to stir around all the sides of the pot. Very good. So quite a lot of core work going on to keep the torso from moving. Now reverse and go the opposite way. That's it. So letting gravity kind of do the work of getting that head of the femur down into the socket, and then allow that nice free movement. Very good. Okay, next layer is to try this with straight legs. So take one leg long on the mat, flex your ankle and press it into the floor. Reach one leg up to the ceiling as straight as you can get it. Now for this one, let's set our hands on the mat just because it's so much more challenging. Now we're going to breathe in and let this top leg cross over our midline and then circle it out to the other side and come up. Yes, so just kind of start drawing this circle and see what happens. Yes, the goal is for our pelvis, our ribs, our shoulders to be stable, and the hip is really where we want the movement. Good. If this is feeling just too much tension in your hip flexor, you can soften the top knee or the bottom knee if that's helpful. Good. Now let's reverse and go the other way. Good. If you happen to be feeling super strong here, you could try doing the robot arms to add challenge, or even the reaching arms. Whew, your circle might have to get smaller, so find what works for you. Last one. Whew. All right, other side. Replace that leg long. Other leg reaches up, and then we start circling. Very good. So start pushing the boundaries of how big your circle can be without rocking the torso. That's kind of a fine line that you're dancing. Good. Let's do 2 more circles here. If you're feeling any like clicks or pops in the hip, try changing the angle or the rotation of the leg or bend the knee. Okay, we don't want tons of that going on in the hip. It should feel nice and smooth. Ooh, very good. Let's do 2 more this direction. Press super hard into the floor with that heel. All right, very good, you guys. Okay, bring your knees back to bent, feet flat, arms long. We're going to get in some more ab work here. So take a breath in to get ready. Exhale, I want you to drop your chin towards your chest. Round your upper back and try to reach your arms beyond your hips. Now hold here and inhale. Exhale, you're just going to roll back down and set the arms on the mat. Good, do that again. Inhale, hover the arms, nod the chin. Exhale, flex the shoulder blades forward. Hold here and stay. And then exhale to lower down. Very good, you guys. Couple more times. Inhale, we drop the chin. Exhale, we fold forward. And then inhale to stay working on that abdominals, endurance. And then lay down. Whew. Good. Couple more times. That should be a word. Abdurance. Endurance of the abdominals. Oh, so good. If your neck is feeling too strained, you can use 1 or 2 hands behind the head, and then we lower. Okay, next one, we're gonna hold up here and stay and start pumping the arms, taking a set of hundreds. We're gonna inhale for 5 counts, exhale for 5 counts. So good. Try to maintain that deep flexion in the upper spine. Try to leave the tailbone heavy onto the mat. Good. Couple more sets. Take a look at your thighs, your knees. Make sure they're parallel. So good. Last 2 sets. Last one, breathing in and out. Now pause the arms, crunch a little higher, and then release your body down to the mat. Very good, you guys. Okay, now lift both of your legs up to tabletop. Place the hands behind the head. Inhale to prepare, and we're going to curl up this time using the hands to support the neck and then replace back down. Good. So now that we're curling up with the legs off the floor, changes how the abs are working here a little bit. And we're just doing 1 count to lift, 1 count to lower. Yes, curl, and then release. Very good, you guys. Okay, let's do 2 more here. Now, last one, curl up and stay. I want you to tap 1 foot to the mat, toes lower and lift. Do the other leg, tap and lift, and then lay your body back down. Whew. Do that again. Curl up and hold. We tap the right foot and lift, left foot and lift, and then return the head. Good. Couple more times. Flex and hold. Maintain that rounded shape as we open the hips and then lower. So good, you guys. 2 more times. Curl up, 2 alternating taps, and then return. Last one. Curl up, tap and lift, tap and lift, and then hug your knees to your chest and lower. Ooh, very good. Okay, last thing here, we're going to add some rotation. So hands back like they were before, behind the head. Take a breath in. This time as we curl up, we're going to crunch over to one side and then lay back through center. Other side. Good. So my upper spine and ribs are rotating. One shoulder blade is trying to come off the floor. So good. So one elbow is getting closer to the opposite knee. Yes, but not by the arm closing in front of our face. It's by us moving our trunk. Very good. Okay, now curl up to one side and stay. Just like before, you're going to tap both legs one at a time. 1, 2, pause in tabletop, lay down through center. Other side, crunch up and stay. Don't think about which leg goes first. Just do both and then return down. Good. Other side, curl, and then really break it up. So we come back to tabletop between each tap and then lower. So good. Crunch, 2 taps. Maintain your twist. So good, you guys. 2 more. Twist and hold. Tap and tap and lower. Good. Last time, curl and tap, tap, and then lay your body down. Oh, well done. Okay, last thing here, we're going to go into a tricky exercise, but a really nice one for the spine and for the abdominals. So we're going to go into a rollover. So lift the legs up tall, bring your ankles together, and imprint your spine. So we're tucked under. Arms are on the mat next to you. Let's do a prep here first. So we're just going to lower the legs forward and lift the legs back up. Do that again. Drop the legs on a diagonal, and then we lift. Very good. So try to maintain your imprint. Keep your ribs closed. You can absolutely bend the knees a little bit if that's helpful to you. Now, to start our rollover, pause with the legs on a low diagonal. Lift them to the ceiling. Push into your hands and roll up towards your shoulder blades. Now from here, open your feet to hip width apart. Flex your ankles and roll down in that position as slowly as you can. Lower the legs forward, point the feet, and touch the ankles. And then we do that again. Inhale, lift. Exhale, curl over. Inhale, open the feet and flex. Exhale to roll down. Now, if this rollover isn't happening for you today, that's okay. You can just do the lift and lowers of the legs, like how we prepped, or you can just try to roll over as far as you can. It's okay if it's small and you just get your tailbone off the floor, okay? Good. Now you want to use your hands almost like the brakes to slow you down on the return. Now let's reverse this. So pause at the bottom. You can point your feet, stay hip width apart. Now lift the legs to the ceiling and curl over with the feet separated. Bring them together at the top. Flex the ankles. Roll down with the legs connected. Good. Now lower them forward. Separate to lift. Curl over. Good. Now as we roll down, we get a little extra inner thigh connection by squeezing the ankles together. Very good. Let's do 2 more times. Open and lift. Curl to the shoulder blades. So good. Come together and lower. Last time, you guys. Open and hinge. Imprint to leave the mat. And then ease your way back down. Whew. Very, very nice. Good. That was a tricky one. Okay, come down to your side. We're going to do a little side leg series that helps to strengthen the outer thighs. So super important to strengthen these guys to kind of balance out around the hip joint. Okay, so you're going to rest your head in your bottom hand, elbow pointing forward, and then tuck your knees up in front of you and feel a little lift under the bottom side of your waist. Okay, so we're just going to go into a little bit of internal rotation with this top leg. Yes, so keeping the knees connected, you're just going to swing your foot up and down. Very nice. So good to get the legs and the hips moving in all these different directions. Yes, rather than just front to back. So good. Okay, now pause with your foot up on that diagonal line. You're going to kick the heel up, bring the knees back together, and then lower the foot down. So I swing the foot, I kick my leg on the angle, lower and touch, and replace. Good. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. And if you like, you can kind of place your thumb right on the top of your hip, and you can actually feel the muscles that are doing this action. It feels kind of cool. Yeah. So those are our little medial glutes on the sides of the hips that help to internally rotate the leg, among other things. Now pause with the leg up, and we're going to go continually bending and pressing on this diagonal. Good. So that lift from under the waist keeps our oblique engaged and keeps our spine in a nice long line for 2. Now pause with the leg long, and you're just going to lower and lift in this internal rotation. You can go as high or as low as you'd like, as long as you keep the turned in position and don't move the rest of the body. 3, 2, 1, and then go ahead and relax down. Whew. Very good. Okay, now kick your bottom leg forward at a slight angle. Have the leg straight. Reach your other leg straight and hover it at hip height. Okay, now you're going to point your top ankle and lift the leg a few inches. Flex the ankle and lower it a few inches. Point, lift, flex, and lower. Yes, so keeping the leg parallel. And then this doesn't have to be huge, just finding a slight lift and lower, and then getting that ankle moving. Very good, you guys. All right, do that 2 more times. Good, you guys. 1 last time here, and then go ahead and just set the foot down for a second. Whew, good. Doesn't take very long to feel those hips moving. Okay, So now we're gonna go into a bicycle kick action, kind of a leg action like when we're running, okay? But turned on our side with gravity coming down on us, we're gonna feel these outer thighs again. So float the leg back up at hip height. I want you to brush your leg straight back behind you as far as you can. You can use this hand to support you. Now bend the knee, bring the heel towards your sitting bone, and then send the knee forward and extend the leg. So you're gonna flex the foot, brush the leg behind your body, bring the heel to your sitting bone, and then point the foot as you kick through. Yes, so we're articulating the feet and the ankles as we find this nice hip action. Good, and this is a lot harder than it looks. It's taking a lot of effort for me to not fall over. Yes, so my leg is digging into the floor. My hand is helping as well. And then just see how big of a range you can get, keeping strong through your core. Good. So you should get a hamstring stretch at the front, a hip flexor stretch at the back. Good, you guys. Let's do 2 more. Whew. Okay, now let's reverse this. So end up with the leg in line with your body. We're going to kick forward first. Bend the knee, send the foot back on an angle, and then sweep forward. So ankle is flexed, and then I point it as I send it behind me, flex it as it swings in front. Good. Bend to reach back, sweep to go front. Good, you guys. 2 more. Try not to tuck your tail under. Leave the low back long. That's it. Whew. And then just rest the leg down. Whew. Very good. Okay, so much work for those legs. Let's flip over to the other side. So start with the knees bent up in front of you, and we'll go into that internal rotation. So we swing the foot up and down. That's it. Knees stay connected. Very good. Okay, next level is to pause with the shin on that angle, kick the thigh to meet, and then we bend and replace. Good. 1, kick up. 2, touch. 3, lower. 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Very good. And back. That's it. Okay, you guys, let's do this 2 more times, and then we'll go into those continuous bend and stretches. Very good. That's it. So now we just tap the knees and press. Tap and press. Good. Not letting the pelvis wobble front to back. In and out. So good. 2 more. And then pause with the leg long, and we're going to lower and lift. Try to find some internal rotation, wrapping from the hip, toes angled to the floor. 3, 2, 1, and then rest the leg down. Okay, now kick the bottom leg straight. So it's almost like a kickstand to help you balance. Reach the top leg at hip height, point the foot and lift up, flex and lower down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So it's good to get the ankle moving and find this coordination with the leg. Yeah, it kind of connects our brain to that lower leg a little bit. So good. Okay, do this 2 more times, and then we'll take a much needed break before our bicycle kicks. Last one. Whew. Okay, here we go. Regroup. Now we'll go into that bigger range of motion, flexing and extending the hip. So lift the leg at hip height. We're going to sweep it backwards, bend the knee, and then swing forward to stretch and restart. Yes, so we reach behind and then reach in front, flexing the ankle to go back, pointing it to come through. Yeah, and everybody's range of motion is going to be different. Yes, so the hamstring is long to go front, hip flexor long to go back. So good, you guys. 2 more, keeping that stability through the core. Last time, and then pause with the leg down, and we'll reverse. So we point the foot, kick front to back. that's it. I lied. It's a flex to go front, whatever. And then back. As long as your ankle and your hip is moving, you're doing all right. Back. Good. So try not to kick the leg up too high as it goes back. We're going to keep it nice and parallel. Last two. And then last one. Ooh, very good. Okay, bend the knees, bring yourself up. Okay, we are going to stretch out those glutes that we were just working. So take a seat on your mat. Kick your left leg out in front of you. Cross your right foot up and over to place on the outside of your straight leg. Okay, now you're just going to grab your right knee, pull it towards your chest, and sit up as tall as you can. And then just gently kind of rock from sitting bone to sitting bone to kind of loosen up your hips and ease into the stretch. Okay, now you're going to keep a hold with just your left hand. Reach your right arm forward. Use your arm to pull and go into a rotation away from your legs and then back to the front. So twisting to the right, opening the right arm back behind, and then replace. Yes, and you can grab onto this leg however is helpful. You can hook your elbow around it. If you're able to twist a little deeper, hand will be a little less stretch. Good. Now rotate back there and stay, and we're just going to hold the twist. Take a few deep breaths in and out. So good. Now stay twisted. Set your hands on the ground over next to your hip and see if you can just fold your body that direction and feel a nice stretch through your rib cage. Very good. Sit your body up, rotate to the other side, and place your hands on the opposite side of your hip and melt forward. Yeah, see if that side body, your waist can open up a little bit. So good. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So now it'll be right leg out long, left foot crossed over. The further back you pull your heel, the stretchier this will be. So grab on with your two hands and then start those little gentle rocks from side to side. Very good. Okay, now your right hand will keep a hold. Left arm reaches forward. Pull with the arm as you rotate and then return to the front. Good. Pull and twist. Look beyond the back arm. Very good. You can hook your elbow around the knee if you're able to twist even deeper. Good. Let's do two more. Good. Really empty out your lungs to get that full depth of your twist. Now hold your rotation, sit even taller, and take a couple big inhales and exhales. So good. Now when you're ready, just set the hands on the floor to the side you're twisted towards. It's okay if both hands can't touch, but then just relax forward, let the head droop. Good. Now untwist, face the other side, hands to the mat, round the body forward. Yes, by taking deep breaths in these twisted positions, we get a nice stretch for between the ribs. So good. Okay, bring yourself out of that. And we are all done. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Pilates for Runners workout. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye. You did it. Way to go on completing today's workout. I hope you feel amazing. If you want to see even more from Real Good Pilates, click the link down below or right up here to head to my website and claim your 7-day free trial for the Real Good Pilates on-demand subscription platform, where you'll find even more fun and challenging ways to work out with me that are all completely ad-free. Plus tons of subscription exclusive workouts that you won't find anywhere else. So I hope you'll try it out, and I can't wait for you to join me for even more Real Good Pilates. I'll see you over there. Bye.